Dr. Zach.
Dr. Zach, he's great. What's up, guys? So I'm here with Adam Fallon. Say hello, Adam.
Hey, what's up?
And we're going to talk about this amazing video that Adam shared on his Instagram. And then I watched it, and I was just going to check it out, and then I ended up watching the whole 30-minute thing on Instagram. Like, usually I'll do that on YouTube, but I was just on my phone like, oh, just in shock. So I'll leave that in the description. Please watch that, or you can just watch this video. We're going to talk about it. But it really went deep into how we messed up, like he said in the 80s, right? With fertilizers in our farming industry, killing the microorganisms in our in the soil, which led to a bunch of what would you call that?
Devaluing the nutrition, I guess.
Devaluing the nutrition of the plants and the food we eat, making us sick, and then the solution was just more chemicals from the same companies. So yeah, we caught ourselves in a literal pickle. You know, both ends is pretty messed up, and yeah, it's just shocking, dude, to like fully understand that. And thank you, Dr. Zach Bush, for explaining that. And it's such a digestible video with a beautiful design. What do they call animations? Yeah, it was just so beautiful. So Adam, you saw that, and how did that make you? I don't want to say feel, because we have a lot of feelings already, but you already act in different ways, eating healthy, and how do you see the world a little bit differently after understanding that process of that?
Well, I mean, the video for me put in so many things I've been trying to explain for, especially the last 2 years. The deeper and deeper I've gone down the rabbit hole of figuring out what the solution is for this planet.
Yeah.
And it just made me so happy and sad at the same time to just, look at the hard, true facts. I really believe part of the solution is looking at what's actually really there in the mirror.
Yeah.
And, for me, it's been a huge process of, especially when I first heard the concept from Paul Chek about if we support organic farming, if we support the people that are actually taking care of the soil, then not only are we taking care of our bodies, which is really the only thing we can do to create a better planet.
Yeah.
But then we're actually supporting the planet, because at this point, we're at such a critical point, we only have 40 years left of good soil for the world to eat, good food that actually is healing and nutrient dense and has the right bacteria. And as the video went in, I mean, our microbiome is literally the epitome of our health, which is greatly a great metaphor for the soil.
Yeah.
And our microbiome is literally our immunity. Like, anytime I've had a client or a friend that I really want to help and they get sick all the time, I'm like, look at your gut, man, because that's the beginning of it, and that's literally the internal fire that keeps us alive. So now in our system we have so many plants and things, all the conventional grown stuff is sprayed with glyphosate. Yeah. So that's going into our body system, and not only is it messing with our gut, but it's making our whole lining more permeable. It's messing with our endocrine system, our hormones. We keep wondering why we have such a degenerate society of
health.
I
love how it went into like psychological deterioration as well, because obviously our mind is our body. So anytime we have physical ailments, we have depression, anxiety. Like I know so many more people than I ever expected to have depression and anxiety. And it just seems like, okay, that's just a common thing. I speak to people and I ask them, like, you have depression, anxiety? Yep. Almost everybody has that.
Yeah.
And it's just, and
so common at this point.
And it's a straight correlation between the food we eat and the diseases and the mental states we're in. And if it's the entire food industrial system, you can't really get away from that unless you're growing your own food or you're sourcing your food from responsible farmers. That's kind of fucked up to say responsible. Like every other farmer's irresponsible, but those farmers themselves got themselves in a sticky situation.
They're cut in the loop. They don't even. A lot of them, I feel like, so many things in the system right now are fucked up because I feel like most of them are not even bad people. They're just miseducated. Like they don't they don't even know that that's actually why there's an issue. So many different societies throughout antiquity were healthy when they were eating good nutrient food, especially local and, pasture raised and all the things that were natural in that society. And as soon as they got exposed to any type of modern diet, processed foods, conventionally raised farmed things, like that's when they started getting sick. That's when they started losing their teeth. It goes on, and it's like, damn, I want to spread this message in the best way I can, and I've realized that there's a lot of people that don't want to hear it because they're already in that anxiety and in that fear. But for me, I find that it really gives me more peace to know, okay, this is what we're facing, and this is how we can solve it if we just wake up to the fact that this is really what's happening. I mean, disease is through the roof, suicide is through the roof. It's not just random, it's not like this pandemic too, like, I hate to keep so many people keep talking about it and bringing it up, but I find that that's really just scratching the surface of what we're really facing, because to me that's really just another symptom of the actual
cause of the why we're sick in the first, or why we're so susceptible to getting sick.
Yeah, because we literally, just like the plants that are sprayed, it's like they used to be like not susceptible to disease and bacteria and all the parasites and everything because they were just strong and healthy from natural soil. The whole soil organism and the microorganisms in the soil are so deeply intelligent beyond what we could possibly imagine, that it's like, I love the saying of, there's this guy, Dr. Fish, and he's running around underwater and he's trying to figure out, and he's telling his friends, I'm working on trying to invent this new thing called water.
I've heard of this somewhere before.
Or something like that, but it's just such a good metaphor for where humans are at right now. It's like we're trying to like put our hands in everything, and at this point we do have to kind of get things back to balance so the earth can do its thing. But
definitely
we've definitely tried to take it in our own hands and mess with the whole system. And there's so many lies out there too that, organic farming is not going to feed everybody, or that, that we have to raise conventional foods and do industrial farming to feed everybody. That's totally a lie. Like, we can create so many, I forget the detailed example, but I know like in China in like the 50s, they were making what we make in 30 acres in 1 3/4 of an acre.
Wow.
And that's how they were feeding all their people.
Wow.
And they were doing it all through the organic farming principles, really like taking and creating a relationship with the soil. So it's just...
Yep. So, and this is, again, not to scare people at all, but it's just to inform. And obviously we like this subject so much that we're so passionate about it that we want to talk, talk to you guys about it and like expand on it a bit more. So the solutions, again, like, I try to keep this, my channel and the whole brand that I'm building based on future solutions and, taking responsibility first and then taking those actions accountable like every single day. So eating organic food, going to the farmer's market is a good step in that direction, I believe, as well.
Totally.
Keep like, it's so interesting that if we just fix ourselves by eating healthy ourselves, we start to regenerate the soil itself.
It's such a win-win. It's like a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's been making me want to be a farmer.
Yeah, it really has.
Isn't that weird?
I feel like either in some lifetime, I guess not in this lifetime, I already have too many things, but I definitely am going to be part of that farming movement. Like, I don't think I'll have enough time to really be the expert farmer that I would love to be, but I feel like it's important to get involved, support, and ask questions. I feel that a lot of people are just, go along with what they read on the news or what they're told, and they don't question the sources. Even the stuff that I want to believe at this point, I try to look deeper and be like, is this really it?
Yeah.
Because that has helped me truly trust myself and trust what I'm reading. I find that the solution really is pretty simple. It's like, support your own body, support your own, which will support your mind. All the mental health issues that we have are totally related to our food system. And so when we do that, I mean, we're already changing the planet just by
Yeah.
being a better person.
Definitely. And I love that we can be selfish because like in a self-development like perspective, like if we want to just be selfish, like you want to be the best you, stop eating that bullshit. Straight up. Like that bullshit is literally destroying your guts, leaking into your brain, making you anxious. Like how are you supposed to make more money or be more successful or just live more fully with that much hindrance inside your body? Like you cannot. So even if you don't care about like the overarching issues because you're never gonna have kids or anything like that, or don't care about the future, like, but you care about yourself right now, like that's the best type of food to eat and put inside your body right now. And evidently you'll help everyone else at the same time. So it's like a beautiful way to be extremely selfish and extremely giving at the same time. It's just like how you said in the beginning, it's like a win-win situation all the way around.
Absolutely.
I want to be a fucking farmer at this point. Like, I swear to God, it's just the weirdest thing. But I feel like that's like the future of like...
That's where we're going to get to. We're going to get to a point where literally...
It comes full circle.
Where we're headed, we're really going to be back at a system where we're trading crops and making sure that we're taking care of the planet because, I mean...
Take care of ourselves, bro.
Totally.
Because that, like, we are... And I think that's been an issue of, like, let's take care of the planet. What it's like... That's the divide. It's like, let's take care of ourselves, and we need fresh food and fresh air, and we are it.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think that saying, or the fish thing, like,
yeah.
It's like, no, you are it.
Yeah. Well, and I think people that are saying, they don't care or whatever, like, stories they have about it are kidding themselves because the earth is us. Like, it literally, we're not going to breathe. We're not going to be disease free. We're going to be susceptible to all sorts of stuff if we don't take care of the planet right now. I mean, there's no waiting. There's no like, okay, let me figure it out. It's like, do it right now. And that's not to say that you should feel shameful or guiltful.
Yeah.
I think it's a process too of like creating the rainbow bridge. I tell people like, if you like mayonnaise, like there's other mayonnaises out there that have organic ingredients, Primal Kitchen Mayo, shout out to that company, it's badass. They have so many amazing products that are they still have the similar vibe and taste of those things you had as a kid, but they have all great ingredients that are good for the planet, supporting the planet, and just things like that. I show people, they think eating healthy or organic tastes bad. I just got a text actually this morning from a client, and they were like, oh my God, I can really tell the difference between organic and conventional. Conventional doesn't taste like anything. And I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of things there. It's literally a plant that's been fed fertilizer to grow.
Yes.
So it's just full of mainly water.
Yeah.
That's why it doesn't taste like anything. Whereas you taste an organic vegetable, I mean, there's been a couple moments these past couple years, I'll taste like something like a strawberry at Carrie's Organic Farm, and I'm like, this is what a strawberry tastes like?
The other ones are just like water.
I'm like, no, wow.
Yeah, dude.
Crap.
Yeah, man. I can't go back to regular food sometimes. Like, I'll go to family sometimes. I'll be like, it's like, oh, man, it's kind of off, Yeah.
I know, and I've had it's a long process, too, of just, like, being okay with it and just sticking to your guns and your word about what you want to do for yourself, because there's so many situations where I knew it would be a little awkward, and sometimes you got to pick your battles. I'm not saying every moment I'm doing this, but definitely just telling people, no, I'm sorry, I can't eat that. I just, I only eat organic. And even though it might annoy them at first, it will have them think about it later, because they'll, like, if they're aware enough, if they have enough consciousness to be, conscious of their own self and wondering why someone would turn down something, it might actually help someone wake up.
That's kind of been my sticking point, is like I try not to be a convincer ever. I like to be more of an influencer, where it's like,
I've had to learn the hard way that way too. I like, because for me it was like, as soon as I would learn this one thing or get this download, I'd be
don't you know about this?
I'd be like, I gotta I mean, mainly with the family, I feel like, and friends, because you care about them and you want them to do better, but you realize that that's not the way. I mean, the amount of people that have come back around to me after I decided that I would no longer be like the preacher of good food and just do it for myself. And then
Yep.
people see, how like well that I feel and look and all the things, and they're like, "Oh shit, what are you doing?" And then it creates this curiosity.
Yep.
No one's gonna change anybody else. It's just you can only change yourself.
Definitely. And one thing I would like to address as well is the cost of healthy food. So healthy food, obviously, especially if you go to like a farmer's market, it's a little more expensive. I did a project on this actually in college, based on a regenerative farm that does like cows and whatnot. And I remember telling the in my presentation is like, just think of it as a donation, like you buy food that's healthy for yourself, that's beautiful, and it's also some of that goes to regenerating the soil and keeping the future of our fucking planet alive. But now that I kind of like, I'm looking back, I don't even think you have to see it as because I feel like that's like give them money type deal,
Yeah.
like whatever. But I now, it like as I got older, I'm not, much older since college, but what I'm trying to say is, it reminds me of this is how expensive and how valuable food should be to me. And then it's like, okay, food is this important. It takes this much my budget to feed myself properly. And then you start to see a lot of other things that I spend my money on is kind of just like not that important.
Yeah, it's self-love to the fullest.
Yeah, it's like I spend this much on food, that leaves me like this much for, I don't want to say bullshit, but just like different things that isn't as important. And then it kind of shows like this is how important food is, and the other things literally are not that important. Like I can't go without food for that long.
Well, and I think about it, people at some point are going to find, if they're not taking care of themselves right now, they're at some point going to find themselves in a hospital, in the doctors.
Yeah.
And that bill is going to be way more than spending money on organic food. So
and then just,
it's like, do you want to take care of yourself now and go through the process of learning that you might have to pay a little more for your food? Or do you want to pay thousands upon thousands of dollars in a medical facility trying to figure out what's wrong with you, when most of the time you're not going to be able to just like fix it with one visit? It's like, that's a whole healing process in itself. So it's like,
and a bunch of pain involved in that story as well, and that in that narrative, you know what I mean? And then all the fun side of being healthy is on this side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's kind of a no-brainer, I feel like, for anyone that's logical. Like, I feel the more and more that I grow into just living this way, I feel so much more just grounded and ready to take on whatever I'm going to take on. It's not like nothing bad happens or I don't have my own emotional processes, but I definitely feel like I can handle things a lot better because, like I was saying, with your gut being your immune system, it's also where most of your serotonin is created for your brain. So, I mean, if you're unhappy, look at what you're eating.
Right.
Because, I mean, and on top of that, it might sound a little woo-woo to some people, but if you're eating meat from some place that is not taking care of the animals the right way, not letting them be pasture-raised, grass-fed, grass-finished, then you're taking on that emotional quality of that animal, that fear, that anxiety. I think it's no wonder, people are like eating McDonald's and they're wondering why they have fear and anxiety. There's so many different layers of that.
Yeah. I love that, because then it starts getting deeper into the state of the energy you're putting into yourself.
Yeah.
Like I know a guy who won't even get a massage